Okay, I was roughly interrupted last time, so I can't remember where I stopped, but I'll take it from where I find it interesting. Blanche talking about the Romeos and them finding love so touching, the discovery of love, and how that sets up now what's happening with her courtship of Mitch. And this here is juxtaposed just with the beginning of this major violence. Again, I think the stage directions are crucial. She turns the knobs on the radio and it begins to play Vine, Vine, No de Eilein. Blanche waltzes to the music with romantic gestures. Mitch is delighted and moves in awkward imitation like a dancing bear. That contrast isn't just interesting. I think it says a lot. Again, his animality, his awkwardness, his enslavement mentality, like something trained, a performer. And she is overplaying it with, as if she's performing for him, as if she's dancing for him, as if she's drawing him in. And the pair in the dance, in particular, visually to the audience, you get that faded elegance of Blanche next to the awkwardness of Mitch. Really is something to behold. And again, that's talking about AO2 form, stagecraft. How does the author, Tennessee Williams, instruct the director and the actors to get a vision for what he wants to appear to the audience? Stanley stalks fiercely like an animal as well, or a hunter, maybe hunting this bear, which he does in a way. He does fiercely through the portieres in the bedroom. He crosses to the small white radio, snatches it off the table. With a shouted oath, he tosses the instrument out the window. So here's the first act of violence. Reckless, almost mindless. He is so upset. That's how he acts. Stella rebukes him right away. Drunk! Pause. Drunk! Animal thing, you. She rushes. All of you, please. She's still mannered. If any of you have one spark of decency, which she doesn't think he has, he's just destroyed a quite valuable. Imagine someone throwing a TV out the window, I guess, would be the modern context, or a computer, or a tablet, or something. It's just a maddening, expensive, stupid move. Blanche, wildly. Now, what's motivating Blanche? She doesn't understand this world of violence, though based on what we learn about her, this may not be completely foreign to her either. But she is worried also that Stella's pregnant and that she might get harmed in all of this. Stanley charges after Stella. Take it easy, Stanley. Easy, fella. Let's all. Feebly, I think, is the key there. They can't stop him. They can't hope to stop him. It's not like that. Now, Williams does this off stage, and I think it's worth thinking about why. She backs out of sight. He advances and disappears. There's the sound of a blow. Stella cries out. Blanche screams and runs into the kitchen. The men rush forward, and there's grappling and cursing. Something is overturned with a crash. He hits her. I mean, it's clear he hits her. And I think the violence towards the radio is now being enacted on Stella. I think it's a blow. What is that blow? We have to think a lot about this, okay? This sets up the rest of the scene and the rest of the play. I think I know why Williams doesn't show this. It's going to be really hard to take these characters seriously and have sympathy for them if we have to witness the hit. Also, how hard the hit is really important. If Stella has a black eye in the next scene, a director is choosing something in particular to say about this moment. There is no doubt this is an act of domestic violence. There's no doubt that he was leaning in that direction from the very moment she arrived, slapping her thigh. And I think Williams is trying to emphasize that he is not going to pay attention to social rules. But there's also, and watch this in the fallout, there is the sense that this happens a lot, or maybe often, and that it speaks to something in their sexual and physical relationship that may make us uncomfortable, that may make us question what is normal and what is right, along with Blanche in the next scene, but we can't simply dismiss it. To dismiss this as an act of simply, and we must, unequivocally, completely in the real world, condemn in every way any form of domestic and emotional violence. Within the artistic text, within the play, it allows us, or it facilitates us, a wider scope for imagining and analyzing this moment. So we're not simply a moralist in the world of the play condemning. And by the way, Blanche will take that position really easily for us in the next scene. But we investigate what is happening. What is this world that is so different than our own? Sure, my sister's going to have a baby. Warning, this is terrible, Mitch says. No, it's crazy. This is absolute lunacy. Again, this is interesting to think about. From the character who's accused of being crazy, isn't this scene actually the true craziness? Stanley is forced, pinioned by the two men into the bedroom. He nearly throws them off. That's how strong and fierce he is, and also how determined he is to hurt his wife. Then all at once he subsides and is limp in their grasp. Okay, subsides, limp. I think the language here, again, could potentially be a reference to sexuality, the surge and release. I get that from the word limp. But it's over now. The storm is over. This moment is gone. It's not, she's so upset. I want to go away, I want to go away. I mean, is this the threat of leaving him? Has she made this threat before? Poker shouldn't be played in a house with women. Again, think about masculinity and femininity, the expectations on us, what we're supposed to do. Mitch had, although he is not this traditional alpha male, seems to have a very particular idea about what men and women should do. I want my sister's clothes, we'll go to the women upstairs. So she's packing up, and the boys reassure him, you just blew your top, Stan. I mean, for me, this is interesting in the way men justify domestic abuse. And what are they blaming it on? Alcohol, gambling, perhaps. I mean, it's worth thinking about. Coffee. They need to get him some coffee. They need to put him under a shower. I don't know if he's beating them or they're beating him. It doesn't really make sense. He's soaking wet now completely. They sweep up their winnings, of course, before they go home. Poker should not be played in a house full of women. He repeats himself so much, Mitch. And he feels like repetition is persuasion, or as if he's saying something, as if saying something important. He's not. He just continually repeats, well, not continually, but he does repeat himself. The door closes on them and the place is still. The Negro entertainers at the bar around the corner play Paper Dolls, Slow and Blue. So you have the jazz music kind of leaking in, and this changes the mood. We have the surge of violence. Now we get into something a bit stranger. Bit unusual, and something magnificently unique, I'd say. It's burned itself into popular culture and into literary fame. My baby doll's left me. He breaks into sobs. He's calling upstairs. He's shuddering with sobs. He is crying. He's falling apart. This is vulnerability we're seeing. He's made a real mistake. I want my baby. We haven't heard him speak like this. Then he hangs up. Eunice, I'll keep on ringing until I can talk with my baby. Here we get more. I mean, I can see this in two distinct ways. In one way, Williams wants to show us the vulnerability of this character, but the other is the kind of abuser mentality, the regret, and the kind of stalking that he won't let it go. He's not going to let her go. So I think what makes Williams interesting to me is it doesn't have to just be seen one way. and how much you see it, or how much you're able to see it in more than one way, and call on the evidence to analyze, to justify your visions, is how you're going to learn to write about the play in a more advanced and complicated way. An indistinguishable shrill voice is heard. He hurls phone to floor. Dissonant brass and piano. So the music reflects the it's almost melodrama. The music is giving us cues as to how we should be feeling. Dissonant. There's a conflict. There's something that's going to go wrong. He stumbles. He's very drunk, half dressed, on the porch, and down the wooden steps, the pavement before the building. There he throws back his head. A baying hound bellows. Stella, Stella, sweetheart, Stella. Stella. This line. So we have literature's second balcony scene. And we have, like an animal, calling out, howling, bellowing, up into the moon, calling her out, like something primal from inside him, from his soul. He's hit her, there's no doubt, and now he's calling out to her to come back. Eunice, go, stop howling, go back to bed. I want my baby, Stella, Stella. She ain't coming down, or you'll get the law on you, Stella. You can't beat on a woman and call her back. Absolutely you can't, but he does. So it tells us something about this relationship. She won't come, and they're going to have a baby, you stinker, you whelp of a Polak, you. I hope they do haul you in and turn the fire hose as you, same as, that's what I was looking for, same as last time. This happened before, and it will happen again. Cycles, patterns, they don't stop, okay? And Eunice is the one that reveals it, that this is not a one-off. I want my girl to come down. Stella! I mean, amateurish. You can't write like that in your creative writing. It looks stupid. Barely Tennessee Williams gets away with it, but in how it's been performed, in this complete power of this scene, that's justified. The low tone clarinet moans. I mean, that's more of a poem, isn't it? The low tone clarinet moans. The clarinet is moaning. Changes the music, changes the mood again. The door upstairs opens. Stella slips down the rickety stairs. Her eyes are glistening with tears, her hair loose about her throat and shoulders. They stare at each other. Okay, so there's a power in the actors playing it. What is that look? Of hatred? The description seems both sad but also powerful. She's higher up than he is. She's got a sense of power, definitely, in coming down. But then right away it turns into something low, animal moans. The moans of the clarinet echo their moans. There is a sexual passion ignited. Now, does it come from power? Violence? Raw desire. He falls to his knees on the steps and presses his face to her belly, curving a little with maternity. Key to this is the treatment of that she is pregnant, and he supplicates himself. He's on his knees, making himself vulnerable, begging. This is not acceptable insofar as he's hurt her, but they're playing some sort of ritual. Her eyes go blind, key line, with tenderness. She can't see. She can't see anything because desire pushes her to that place. Tenderness, love, almost as if he is her child. And raises him level with her. You aren't below me. You don't need to stay there. She picks her up. She doesn't want a supplicant man. She doesn't want a weak man. That's key. And, you know, think contrast the relationship with Mitch and Blanche. Mitch is worshipping Blanche. This isn't what women... Some women want that. I was going to say, no, this isn't what women want. That's not true. Women want a variety of different things. Men want a variety of different things. But in this play, Williams is trying to shine a light on particular notions of desire and how they play out. And Stella, in this small gesture, doesn't want him below. He snatches the screen door open and lifts her off her feet and bears her into the dark flat. So he is the actor. He is the aggressor. This haunting echoes in scene 10 when he rapes her daughter. Her sister. Daughter, no. Her sister. But he picks her up as if to, you know, carry her to reassert his masculinity. And she's given him that permission to do that. Blanche comes out in her robe and slips, and it's too much. Where's my little sister? She feels as if she's been beaten. This is something too much. Now, is this too much because the violence is just absurd? Is that what we, the audience, feel? Or is this actually too much as in you're witnessing what real desire looks like? I think you could go, you know, again, struck. There's a lot of choices there for you as a student of literature. But you can also think about the actor. You can also think about the director. There are many filters of interpretation in trying to figure out how to play these scenes. And that's what makes drama so amazing. And especially when it's written to this power. She rushes down to the walk before the house. She looks right and left as if for sanctuary. That's good. I never noticed that. She needs safety. Protection, which are things she talks about needing later in the play. Miss Dubois. Oh, it's all quiet now. It's just, you know, you don't need to be scared. They're crazy about each other. As if to say, the fear is they'll break up. Is that actually the fear? Because, and don't worry, they really love each other. I think there's a lot of glossing over the violence and how unacceptable it is. It's not okay. I'm not used to such... It's a shame that just had to happen when you got here. Why? Would it be okay if it happened when she's here for a month? Would it be better if she was used to it? I mean, this is, for me, this is the language that's below the language. But there's a lot of different stuff going on there. He's still trying to flirt with her and get to know her. She's not properly dressed. It doesn't make a difference in the quarter. So that's important to know for setting. Her setting in class, her expectations for dress, and what you're allowed to do in New Orleans are in stark contrast. She looks back. He's smoking a cigarette, so she notices that it's such a pretty silver case. It's an object of beauty. And one of my favorite, very subtle lines, as I said to you, Mitchell repeats himself. I showed you the inscription, didn't I? His self-narration, the way he sees himself, is really interesting. Why is this so important for him to tell her? And he's forgetting that he just showed it to her. He's so caught up in the way he plays that role. There's so much confusion in the world. Thank you for being so kind. I need kindness now. This, again, echoes her final lines. And I think is an authentic... Here, I do think she's being authentic. What she needs is kindness, care, and I think there's confusion in the world, but I'm definitely in this scene, but I think there's confusion in Blanche. She's been here one night, and this scene, this powerhouse of a scene, it churns up so much of what's going to explode and develop through the course of this play. So you'd want to look at Stella and Stanley, of course, the world of Stanley and his men and his poker game, and the world of Stella with her sister. You'd want to look at Stella Blanche, their relationship. You'd want to look at Mitch and, if I haven't said it already, Mitch and Blanche, of course, these scenes. You'd really want to look at the stagecraft, how this really memorable scene Williams puts together, and definitely you're going to want to listen to the radio version of this. You're going to watch it. You're going to watch the classic movie of it, and even better for you if you can watch one more version of this scene to get a sense of the different opportunities, the different interpretations, the different way you can see what's going on here, to give you those multiple interpretations that help you realize how truly amazing this play is.